entrepreneurs are the outliers in the system, right? They are lonely, they are always trying to build something, and they have to manage a set of people. And in all of this hustle bustle, somewhere they lose their sense.
Yes.
They lose their calm, they lose their cool, and they become insane. So we want to make them sane again, and we want to bring that wellness, as a tool to them, and then help them out to get through that. That is the whole idea of this podcast. As far as I know about you, right, you have been into startup ecosystem from a very young age.
I would ask people to send their pictures, and I would generate AI caricature of that. Back then, I always thought that, the only purpose of having business is just making good money. And for a lot of reasons, we had to dissolve that company.
So I see that you're a gym rat. You go to
Yeah.
gym and all that stuff.
It has given me scars that I still can't, heal. The days are running faster, the hours are running faster, and you are running out of time.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Manoyana podcast. I am Nagabhushan, your host, and let's begin the show. With me today I have Keertana. She's the founder of Tejo Maya, and also she runs a dance school called Keertana Kala Shale. A very warm welcome to you.
Thanks for having me.
Great. So I think let's quickly dive into the content and let's start talking, right? So can you quickly share your journey? As far as I know about you, right? You have been into startup ecosystem from a very young age, from your college time. So can you kind of take me through that journey once from there till Tejo Maya, and what are you up to with Tejo Maya and everything else?
Yeah, sure. Beginning with my education, I did my undergrad in BMS College of Engineering. There is always this feeling that I should not depend on my parents for money or like kharche ka paisa and everything. So that's when I actually started having this idea, I should have a side income. So that's when I started this AI generated stickers. So when I would ask people to send their pictures, and I would generate AI caricature of that, and then I would print it as a sticker for them and give it. So back then, this I'm telling you about 2021.
Okay. This is post-COVID time.
Yeah, we were just out of third wave.
Okay.
So that's when AI was not in that much of a hit kind of thing. It was just very nascent when it
I think even the chat GPT was
not there back then. So that time I made this AI where it generates a cartoon image of a person. So this took off really well. I made stickers for everyone, and that was like a B2C thing that I had, and I also had B2B deals where I would send out stickers for weddings and stickers to put on a pet packed bottles and everything, and I used to ship these stickers pan India. So this was what I ran for a year almost, and I made good money off it. Back then I always thought that the only purpose of having business is just making good money. That's what I always thought, but it's more to that. I learned that in a very hard way. It's more to that. And later, that's where I found out that my passion is to do business. Next business is the AR business that I started in the third year of my engineering. It was a very simple concept. It was basically a t-shirt printed with a graphic, and when you scan it with your phone, there is an animation that pops up in the phone. This was a very basic concept. We built this on Instagram Metaspark AR. This business ran well, and for a lot of reasons, we had to dissolve that company. Tejo Maya was born. I was dealing with a lot of things personally, and I found a way to cope up with all of this. And I gave myself a good wellness program, and that's where Tejo Maya was born. Obviously, my mom ran Keertana Kala Shale for almost 15 years now. So alongside my different ventures, there was always Keertana Kala Shale every weekends. My mom would take dance classes. That was there since I was 4.
Oh, so your mom started dance and then you picked it up?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. So you're a second generation dancer, or?
I am a second generation dancer. My mom, she did a lot of degrees and she got many awards
Oh,
in
wonderful.
this field. She has almost 26 years experience in dance,
Oh.
and she started this dance school because I was the only child and I wanted company. So that led into a great institution right now, which I am currently running as I'm the bearer of the torch. So there we teach just Bharatanatyam, classical music, yoga, ಮತ್ತೆ ವೀಣೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ.
Oh, nice.
We also teach yoga and veene.
I play Veena as well.
Oh wow, that's so nice.
Yeah.
So that was very confined to Indian classical art form. Not a lot of people are really enthusiastic to learn this. I think it goes with interest, dedication,
Correct.
commitment, and consistency. If you have all these 4 things, you will be able to pursue through it. But
True.
I wanted dance to be more fun, and a concept where anyone can dance.
Correct.
So that's where I brought about a new plan or a new routine called dance therapy,
Okay.
where I mix yoga and I mix a little bit of dance, and I come this is like a general wellness program, or you can say general workout routine which I created.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this Cult Fit and all these,
Huh.
other dance fitness programs that are there that offer Zumba.
Yeah.
How different this is from Zumba or what Cult Fit offers?
So personally, I've not done Zumba so far.
Okay.
And Zumba is very energetic, and you are so driven with the rhythm and everything. But this dance fitness, it has amalgamation of a little bit of yoga.
Okay.
So when you want to focus to a particular part of your body, let's say today I just want to do upper body and like arms. I have a dance workout routine for just that.
Oh,
And
okay.
then there is a lower body focused workout. This is all comprising of both dance and yoga. And when I say dance, it is specifically Bharatanatyam.
Oh, okay.
It's not necessary that I teach people Bharatanatyam.
So it's not a Western cardio dance that we're talking
No,
about?
it's not.
Okay.
It is a flowy, movement oriented,
Okay.
and which is very peaceful and graceful.
Oh.
I could say. And I'm actually conducting a program right now. It's called as Reverse Your Age. With this, I teach dance fitness with inclusion of meditation and diet in collaboration with a lot of people.
Correct.
So
I know Rituparna. I've met
You
him.
know?
Yeah,
Oh.
I have spoken to him before. I saw it in a video. I was like, I know this guy.
I have collaborated with Rituparna for this.
Correct.
And it starts from 6th of January. You guys should join, actually.
Definitely.
So that's when you'll know what exactly dance fitness is all about. And in Bharatanatyam, there are a lot of things. There is something called as mudra. There is a mudra like this called Kataka Mukha. There is a mudra like this called Simha Mukha. But there is health benefits for this. So if you hold like this, any digestive issues that you have, or if you have constipation issues, definitely if you hold this mudra for at least 10 minutes or something, that will be sorted. So there are a lot of issues like this that corporate employees face. It could also be with blood pressure. How do you regulate your blood pressure? Just hold this mudra for just 10 minutes every day, and it will help you balance that blood circulation in the body. Many health benefits that you can find with Bharatanatyam, which I have handpicked and put in this program.
Wonderful. So you've been doing a lot of things at a very young age, right? And still, you just got out of college and doing so many things now. And even when you're college, you started from the all the fancy things that were out there, even with the AR and everything. So did you feel that you are not, when you're in college specifically at that young age, when you're doing so many things, did you feel you did not belong to your peers in the college? You did not belong to the crowd specifically, And did you feel you're different or you're somebody, how did you work without, because your friends are talking about going partying or they're going on a restaurant or they're going for a trip, whereas you're focusing on fulfilling the orders or working on a technology and fixing a bug. You were always out from the crowd. So how did you feel about it, and what is your whole experience there?
So I liked being different. I got a lot of criticism for who I was. So when it comes to my peers, everyone did have this ultimate goal. When you join engineering, you get a job, you make enough money, and you get out of it. That is the strategy that all of us were taught.
I can feel you. I'm an engineer too, so.
Yes, I was taught the same thing. So everyone around me were in that mindset, and I felt very different to them. And the difference is, or the difference I could put about myself is that I liked being that person. I was always outgoing and outspoken. And even though I got a lot of criticism for it, a lot of people bullied me for it, but at the end of the day, I accepted who I was. I know I was outgoing, and I accepted that, and I just focused on how to make myself better. I did have the conviction that whatever you're doing today is going to lead you somewhere in a better place
But
tomorrow.
where did it come from? Because initially when somebody bullies you, at least for 1 or 2 times, you would have felt that hurt, or you would have felt that thing coming to you, and you were not prepared for it, right, from the day one. So what helped you cope up with that, or what was your, because I mean you are also trying out. At the end of the day, you're like, okay, something new came up, I want to give a try, and you tried, and it worked. But while you're still figuring out a lot of things, and these backlashes or these feeling of not belonging to the crowd, how did you cope with that in the initial days? Probably later, I think, like you said, you got a lot more clarity, but in the initial days, how was it?
First of all, I was not okay with it.
Okay.
I was devastated, and I did not know how to handle my feelings. That is where my mom came to rescue. She taught me how to meditate.
Oh,
and
nice.
I started meditating, and that gave me a lot of clarity. But see, meditation could be my journey, but your journey could be different.
Correct.
And somebody else who's watching this video, your journey could be different, right? And it's about you, how you understand yourself and how you are going to get yourself out of it. But all you need to know and tell yourself is that you are doing right, they are not. Don't give a damn about what they're telling. Just go ahead with what you are doing. And in my second year itself, I just got into doing internships and everything. So when I had a criticism in this place, I always knew how to get out of there and go to a place where I feel belonged. And that's where I interned in a startup. So that's how I interned in a startup. So
I think you changed the whole crowd. When you didn't belong to the crowd, you just changed the crowd where you belong.
Yes, exactly.
Very nice.
There's always a place for you. And I think that's the comfort even all entrepreneurs could share.
Correct.
I know at the end of the day, you and I, both of us are entrepreneurs, and both of us are struggling. And we can understand each other's pain, and we can share it. And that will, this actually becomes a really good podcast, you see.
Yeah. So the whole idea of Manoyana is for that only, because entrepreneurs are the outliers in the system, right? They are lonely, they are always trying to build something, and they have to manage a set of people. And in all of this hustle bustle, somewhere they lose their sense.
Yes.
They lose their calm, they lose their cool, and they become insane. So we want to make them sane again, and we want to bring that wellness, as a tool to them, and then help them out to get through that. That is the whole idea of this podcast. So quickly moving on to the next question. You are an outgoing person, so this question will make a lot of sense to you. That nowadays there is a debate going on about hustle culture in the companies, and entrepreneurs are the first prey to this whole hustle culture of working burning out, working, going all in, and then if you don't do it in this age, when will you do it? Or this is your startup, first 5 years are on fire. So what's your view? Because I mean, what I'm seeing, even though we are not too much of an age difference, but I still see a very different perspective about everything with you compared to me or the elders that I've, had words with. So you're coming from a different, very outgoing perspective. So what do you feel about hustle culture and entrepreneurship?
Something about hustle culture. I am also in that jam right now, as I'm into multiple things. I'll have to work for literally 80 hours a week, and it's draining. I do have burnouts, but at the end of the day, hustle culture is going to ruin your health. I've come to notice that.
I think Mr. Narayan Murthy is your best friend. Then he says 70 hours, you're done. You're doing 80, so he'll be like, "Good beta, good."
Bro.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I still feel hustle culture is very unhealthy. Right now, we have the energy, we have the passion, we have the zeal, and they tell this is your age to do it. But at the same time, it is your age to keep your body healthy, keep your mind healthy, keep a body and mind balance, and that's when you are more proactive. There's a difference between proactive and reactive. If there is a stimulus and you react to it, and I feel hustle culture induces that reactive mentality. Rather be proactive. For you to be proactive, just have a peace with your mind and body, and please stay healthy, eat something healthy, and prioritize yourself. We forget self-care in hustle culture. Please don't forget yourself in between a lot of
So
things.
when you mentioned about this health and everything, so I see that you're a gym rat. You go to gym and all that stuff. So tell me a little more about it. How is health, or how is going to gym in the first place have helped you in doing whatever you're doing, right? And just how physical health in the first place makes a lot of difference, right? So what has gym got to you? Like you have mentioned in one of your posts that I saw that do I need therapy? I have gym, something like that.
Yeah.
So yes, tell me a little more about it.
So the reason why I started going to gym is because in my schooling I was bullied for being fat. I was fat shamed. So I always wanted to get myself out of it, and it has given me scars that I still can't heal from. But I've taken a positive feedback from it. I've taken a positive criticism out of it, and that's where my journey with gym started. Before which I was definitely a lot into fitness. I started doing yoga when I was 4, but I found gym to be very therapeutic, because I could focus if I'm struggling to focus on something. Gym, just working out would give me the clarity.
Yeah.
I mean, I have not taken therapy so far, so I really can't comment anything about it. But it has not. There has been no situation which has established the need for therapy.
Okay.
If so, I would definitely consider therapy, because a lot of people tell that it is very helpful. But at the end of the day, it is up to what you want for yourself.
True.
Like, I choose gym.
Gym is your therapy.
To keep myself sane. Whatever keeps you sane. People do art, people do yoga, people go for bike riding.
Correct.
You just find your peace.
Yeah, all the things that I do.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, one thing that I want, because you mentioned about bullying and everything. So, this is a very personal question again, right? You said you were fat shamed. So, all this, I mean, you have got over it, and then now you're super fit and everything is good. But all those bullying in your childhood, do you think it has affected you somewhere in your adulthood? Any of those scars that you mentioned, does it affect you now in some of the other formats?
There is always a part of me which is still that little Kirtana who got bullied. So that part is in me. And you know, all I could do right now is to give that person the peace by going to gym and, you know, telling that person that, you know what, you're good because I'm doing this right now. But, you know, I've taken a positive approach to it because whatever criticism I have got, I had the ability to turn that into something very positive for myself, and, you know, which has actually benefited me. So it has given me this attitude of being optimistic.
Correct.
Every journey of an entrepreneur is it's going to be very rocky. That it's a roller coaster, and you need to have that resilience, right? I think these incidents in my life has actually built me being resilient towards any hardships.
Since you talked about the little Kirtana, I have something very interesting to ask, right? I generally deal with a lot of elders in my whole, entrepreneurial journey, be it my clients, be it any, peer entrepreneurs that I meet in forums. There is usually twice than my age or much elder, and they've achieved something, they are experienced, and, the conversation that I have with them is totally different. And for them, I am a kid. Right, and of course you might have faced similar aspect as well. People judge you sometimes by your age, and they're like, hey, you have not seen life yet, or you're too young for all of this, you should go work somewhere, right? So have you faced any such situations, or if you have, how did you deal with it?
Every day I face this situation.
Okay.
This see, what I can tell you is the life they have seen and the life they expect you to see is very different from the life that you are seeing. The world you are in is different, and I get a lot of criticism from older entrepreneurs who tell that you don't have relevant experience to be doing this, so I am not willing to take this deal. I don't think your product is just looking at my age, and they're like, oh, you're just 22. I get that head tilt like this, you're just 22. And there are also a lot of people who encourage young entrepreneurs.
Correct.
Which I also like, when there are older people who are accepting of the profession I am in, accepting of what I do for my living, and they encourage it, and I find it very warm and very comforting. But also at the same time, when you do stumble into people who are like, you're too little to be doing this, or you need more experience to be doing this, tell yourself that the life they have seen is completely different from the life you are seeing.
Correct.
The days are running faster, the hours are running faster, and you are running out of time. You should be focusing on your product more than others' criticism. There will be thousands of people who will criticize you. Your enemies are watching you very closely. So just go ahead and give them a great show.
Okay. So I think, I don't know, I've seen this a lot more in young entrepreneurs, that you're always running out of time for no reason. I mean, I used to feel the same when you said that. I could relate to it a lot more better. Is that we always feel, oh my God, we are already 22. We see two people who are 18 and doing much better than us, or we are always running fast in the race. Right? I think we have caught up in that, and probably when they see it, they're like, hey, you guys have still another 20-year runway. Why are you guys running now in 100 speed? You guys go slow. I think maybe that's a perspective they look at it. For us, it's like, oh, there is already an 18-year guy running way ahead of me. I want to catch him and move ahead of him. I think this race will never end, probably. Right? So we are all in that race, and we are all running fast and slow, depending on the age. Coming to a little more serious question, around your life, which is burnout, right? Have you experienced it sometime in your life, or if you have, how did you deal with it?
Burnout. I had a very long burnout after the dissolution of my company.
Which one? The first one?
AR.
Okay, AR one.
And I'll be having weekly burnouts too.
Okay.
So there's a short term and a long term burnout.
Okay.
So for a long-term burnout, right? All I do is just take a vacation.
So just for those who don't understand what burnout is really about, according to you, what is a burnout?
It's just you are done with the repeated cycle of your work. You just wake up, you do this, you do that, you're in the timetable, okay, cool, bye, good night. And you are so done with that cycle, you're like, is this my life? Is this going to be my life? And for that, I just find a diversion. Whenever I face burnout in my work, I just divert. Taking a vacation could be multiple different things. One thing is that I meet a lot of people and just chill. That is one kind of vacation for me. I just go on a bike ride. That is another vacation.
You ride?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah. So, like that, I just take a diversion. Just start doing something completely other than what you're doing and give your entire focus there. It helps you get back on track to your primary activity that you were doing. That's it. That's how I handle occasional burnouts. For a long-term burnout, at least for 3 to 4 months, I just literally lost a lot of hopes. I lost hopes in business, I lost hopes in everything. I just started journaling.
Wow, okay.
So I have this crazy thing of, sorting each and everything, organizing everything.
OCD.
And I have that peak OCD. Like this thing over here is bugging me right now because there's a lot of
for the audience.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay.
So I tend to organize my life. So journaling and tracking my food or tracking my day, tracking my dream. So all of that helps me, and talking to myself and writing to myself in a book, that also helps me out to cope up with burnouts.
So we are almost at the end of this podcast, and we have talked about a lot of stuff, right? So I want to ask something more little professional mix now. What is success according to you? Apart from all the professional achievement that you're doing, personally, now that you're into so many things, what is success according to you?
I think a lot. I've seen my own parents. They're like, what? I'll just retire. I'll just chill in my life. I think more than defining success, I could say I getting the feeling of a fulfillment. I would get that when I don't lose the drive to do what I'm doing, because I have a lot of dreams ahead of me. Building my own dance school, having a Gurukula system, the list goes on. At the end of the day, even when I'm 60, I don't want to lose the drive. When I'm 60, I want to wake up and go hit the gym and do one pull-up and come back. And I think that is the fulfillment I look for.
Wonderful.
Which is like not losing the drive.
Correct.
I think that could be a life well led.
Wonderful. So, you're a Bharatanatyam dancer since your childhood. You are into yoga, like you mentioned, and you're a certified trainer also now. So, can you tell me a little bit about the journey and how having Bharatanatyam in your life from an early age and yoga, in your life from an early age, how did it impact your life overall?
I think my personality of being too outgoing and outspoken is because I have been performing since the age of 4. I have been on stage since 4, performed on stage since 4, and that's where my extrovert nature comes in, and I am too outspoken and I make sure people hear me out. I think that attitude was gifted to me by the stage performances I gave in Bharatanatyam. And right now, Bharatanatyam is something, it gives me solace, At the end of the day, business aside, cash flow aside, getting clients aside, at the end of the day, I get the peace. Saturday and Sunday, when I do weekend classes, I am in my element. I make the little Kirtana happy, I make the present Kirtana happy, and it's just the entire day of just me, just Kirtana. So that is what Bharatanatyam is.
Awesome. And how about yoga and other practices?
Yoga was mostly to deal with my health issues, right? I had a lot of health issues when it comes to digestive system, or like, I told you I was a little bit chubbier before. So, to cope up with all of these, to cope up with my insecurities, I started doing yoga, which gave me this benefit of having a mind to body balance, and made me more healthier, more flexible, and I can deal with stress and more pressure.
Do you still practice yoga to the day?
Yes, I do.
Wonderful.
I work out every day. I do yoga every day, and it is a good fitness routine to have in your life. And with international certification, of course, that is helping me with Tejomaya. It is helping me understand people's issues, right? When it comes to BP or sugar, what kind of workout should they do? What are the workouts that they should avoid? Since I know it, because of the certification, it helps me well to provide that credibility for the kind of services that I provide with Tejomaya.
Wonderful. So, I think we've had a great conversation so far, right? And one last question for the day is that we have talked about physical health, we have talked about, your fitness routine, we have talked about the challenges that you had, in your whole journey. So how overall mental health really affected your decision making in your entrepreneurship? Or were there days where you took a decision because you're not in the right frame of mind? Did it happen to you, or what's your viewpoint on that?
Yes, there is a saying in Kannada, Kopat kaili buddhi kotkobeda anta. I always got that from my mom. The thing is, there has been positive and negative impact of my mental state at that moment to me taking a decision based on that. I'm a person who tends to react quickly for when I'm angry or frustrated, which is definitely a negative trait in me. And that's where I refrain from making any decision. And I do a quick 5 minutes meditation before I decide something, that exercise actually has helped me to make better decisions. It helps me take a longer view or long-term impact of that decision. So I think after a lot of bad decisions, I have come up with this coping mechanism where I meditate for 2 minutes, and then I'm like, okay, I get a perspective of the situation, I take the decision. So that's how it is for me.
Wonderful. So I think it's a long talk that we did today. And thanks a lot for coming here and spending your valuable time, and also sharing all the experience without any boundaries or hesitation. Any final thoughts you want to give it to the audience? Any call to action you want to say them, something to help them in their journey?
I'm assuming that your audience are going to be young entrepreneurs.
A mix of all.
To the young entrepreneurs out there, don't hesitate from being who you are, accept who you are, and just focus on your plan and go ahead with it. Even though you feel like you're not going anywhere, I'm pretty sure you're going to find people who are going to help you, mentor you into getting a proper path. And to the older entrepreneurs, all of you are mentors to our future generation, to make our lives easier, to make your lives easier, and all our future to be bright. Help these young entrepreneurs. They do need your guidance, and you should mentor them. And your mentorship is very much needed to us young entrepreneurs.
Yes, so true. I really agree with you. Thanks a lot for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, great. That was it for the day. I hope you enjoyed this podcast and got some valuable insights from it. Please do subscribe to this channel. Also follow our journey so that you keep updated with latest things that are happening in your entrepreneurial journey. Namaste. Thank you.